in a move that shocked not only the people of Burkina Faso but sent ripples through the corridors of power across Africa. The African Union has dispatched an unexpected envoy to Ouagadougou following a chilling, powerful declaration from Captain Ibrahim Traoré. There were no loud statements, no formal press releases, no red carpets or rolling motorcades, just one quiet delegate, one mission, one message, and the question on everyone's mind is why? This isn't how the African Union usually moves. For years, we've seen noisy condemnations, suspensions, and sanctions. But this time, it feels different. There's an eerie calm hovering over what could become the most pivotal chapter in modern African history. So what did Captain Traoré say that led to this visit? Just days ago, the young revolutionary leader stood before a select group of local journalists and made a bold declaration. Burkina Faso will no longer answer to institutions that do not answer to the people of Africa. This wasn't just a soundbite. It was a thunderclap, a direct challenge to both African institutions and global powers alike. Traoré made it clear that Burkina Faso is charting a new course, a future defined by Pan-African solidarity, sovereignty, and total rejection of what he calls the puppeteering of old empires. He declared an open alliance with Mali and Niger under the AES, the Alliance of Sahel States. Together, these nations are setting up a new African order, away from the influence of both ECOWAS and, in many ways, the African Union itself. Enter the African Union. In what analysts are calling an unprecedented move, they sent Tete Antonio, the Angolan diplomat and current chairperson of the AU's Council, to Burkina Faso. But it wasn't just who they sent, it was how they sent him. No media briefings, no public condemnation, no closed-door warnings. The AU, known for its swift rebuke of coups and transitions that defy traditional democratic frameworks, instead came to listen, to observe, to understand. Is this a recognition of the changing power dynamics in West Africa? Or is the African Union preparing for something far more radical? A total recalibration of its role in continental governance? Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have formed what is now seen as the Sahel power bloc. These countries, each led by military governments, are not just rejecting the West. They're creating their own rules. Unified military strategies, gold-backed currency discussions, sovereign control of resources, mass expulsion of French and Western influence, and most notably, a call for an African renaissance. They've struck deals with Russia, increased trade with China, and are fostering intra-African cooperation that bypasses traditional colonial-era boundaries. This is what Traoré is building. This is what the African Union has now chosen to witness firsthand. Inside the presidential palace in Ouagadougou, sources say Tete Antonio met directly with Traoré. The conversation, we're told, was extremely frank, extremely calm, and extremely consequential. No one knows exactly what was said, but speculation is swirling. Is the African Union considering recognition of the AES bloc? Will they back down on demands for elections? Could this be the beginning of a shift from top-down governance to bottom-up sovereignty? The silence after the meeting was deafening. Not a single official statement has been released. Across Burkina Faso, citizens have rallied in support of Traoré. Street murals, songs, and social media campaigns hail him as a modern-day Sankara. But internationally, the situation is more complex. France and the United States have expressed concern over the AU's muted posture. Meanwhile, nations like South Africa and Algeria are calling for African solutions to African problems, welcoming the calm but firm approach. If the African Union is indeed shifting its strategy, we may be witnessing a paradigm shift in continental governance. Away from foreign dependency, away from externally dictated democracy toward African-led frameworks rooted in sovereignty and unity. This could redefine AU diplomacy in the 21st century. Could we see a collaborative structure emerge between the AU and the Sahel Alliance? Could Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger become co-authors of a new AU doctrine, one that emphasizes grassroots democracy, cultural identity, and Pan-African economic independence? If so, this visit might go down in history not as a reprimand, but as a recognition. Traoré has sent a message not just to the African Union, but to every African. We are no longer waiting for permission to be free. This moment is not about politics. It is about power. The power to self-determine. The power to rewrite the rules. And the African Union's quiet arrival in Ouagadougou may be the first step towards something revolutionary. Because sometimes history doesn't shout. It whispers. And when it does, only the brave listen. Stay tuned. The story is just beginning.
Welcome to African Spotlight 24, your premier source for news and current affairs from across the continent. We're glad you're here. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe, like, and turn on notification to stay up to date with the latest news and analysis. Your support helps us reach more people. Disclaimer: the content of this video is based on credible, publicly available information and is intended for educational, analytical, and informational purposes only. African Spotlight 24 does not promote hate, violence, misinformation, or political unrest. Our goal is to deliver thoughtful insights, highlight local voices, and encourage informed conversations throughout Africa.
It has been for days since Captain Ibrahim Traoré sent shockwaves across the region by daring to challenge the African Union's stance on the Russia-Ukraine war. The young Burkina Faso leader, who has shown remarkable courage in standing up to France, he said, "We were expecting maybe a more severe reaction, but it was quite the opposite. It caught us off guard." So, what exactly is the African Union listening for? But it's important to remember that he's not operating in a vacuum. His every move is a response to external pressures, a pushback against those who seek to control Africa's destiny. Decades of neocolonialism, of being sidelined in global affairs, and of being denied the resources and opportunities to drive our own growth have left many Africans disillusioned and desperate for change, and a demand for a seat at the table where decisions about our future are made. The African Union's visit to Burkina Faso, a step in the right direction, a sign that our leaders are finally listening to the cries of their people, and embraces self-determination, one that challenges the status quo and demands a more equitable and just world order. The African Union's response to this declaration will be crucial in shaping the future of our continent. Will they stand with the people of Burkina Faso and other African nations that are demanding a new way forward? Or will they continue to perpetuate the old system that has held us back for far too long? And the West caused another stir when he refused to back down despite immense pressure from regional and international powers. Ibrahim Traoré's recent speech has sent shockwaves across the region because it reflects a growing sentiment among African youth who have had enough of being sidelined, of being spoken for, and of being denied the opportunity to shape their own future. Thank you for watching. Please like and share this video and comment below with your thoughts about Ibrahim Traoré's bold declaration. Do you think it's a turning point for Africa? His statement on African soil, where he called for Pan-African unity and spoke against neocolonization, had significant weight. By refusing to be drawn into the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which has largely been a proxy war between global superpowers, Traoré essentially declared Burkina Faso's independence from external influence. We are at a point where many Africans are ready to chart their own course, to forge their own path to development and prosperity. And that is a powerful message that resonates deeply with many Africans who are tired of being used as pawns in the global power struggle. The question on everyone's lips is, what does this latest development mean for Burkina Faso and the larger African narrative? In a recent interview with Al Jazeera, the ousted president of Burkina Faso, Paul-Henri Damiba, expressed his surprise at the African Union's response to Ibrahim Traoré's declaration. Well, it is clear that they want to gauge the level of support for Ibrahim Traoré's position on the war in Ukraine. Traoré's recent actions have been stirring up emotions across Africa, with many hailing him as a symbol of hope for the continent's youth and others urging caution, warning that his approach could lead to diplomatic trouble. As the African Union envoy's visit to Burkina Faso shows, there is a growing sentiment across the continent that we've had enough of being talked down to, of being lectured by those who have no respect for our sovereignty or agency. And while some may criticize Ibrahim Traoré's approach as reckless or dangerous, It's crucial to recognize the context that led him to take such drastic measures. What we are witnessing today is a growing desire for self-determination, a push for greater control over our own resources, but true progress will require more than symbolic gestures. It will demand concrete actions to address the root causes of the instability and discontent that continue to plague our continent. His words are a clarion call for a new African narrative, one that rejects neocolonization. Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the African narrative is being reshaped, and Ibrahim Traoré's recent speech is at the forefront of this transformation.